Well, good Thursday morning, Southeast Texas. You know, we're still dealing with some fog in a few areas across Southeast Texas, even as we approach the noon hour. Lots of low clouds out there, even some fog still off in the distance at our Roofing 911 Skycam network down in Port Arthur, sponsored by Market Basket. Now, the visibilities have improved a little bit over in Orange on our Roofing 911 Skycam network, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store. It was a foggy morning. Visibilities were close to zero, and we expect the same thing tonight. Temperatures started out in the 50s. We still should get well into the 70s this afternoon. It's going to take a while, though, for some of these low clouds to break across Southeast Texas, but there's still a little bit of fog out there. There's a little bit, especially near the waterways. Of course, the water temperatures are warmer than the air above it, so it helps produce that fog. So any waterways, everybody's still dealing with a little bit of fog there. But outside our 12 studios, we're looking good. Some breaks in the clouds, a little bit of sun. 12 studios here right outside our building, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. A lot more blue there. So we'll eventually become partly cloudy, and it's going to be quite warm and humid this afternoon. Of course, that front that came through and stalled is still stalled just to our south. It'll come back to the north as a warm front overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. We'll have more of a southerly wind across Southeast Texas coming out for tomorrow. But we as well here in Beaumont started out in the 50s this morning. We'll reach the mid 70s coming up this afternoon. Now, we'll go to Jasper, the camera up there, in just a moment. Well, here we go now. There are lots of low clouds. In fact, just a half hour ago, there was still some patches of fog off in the distance there up in Jasper, sponsored by Pervalis. Our camera up in Jasper. You started out in the 50s this morning. You'll warm to the lower 70s this afternoon. So it's taking, going to take some time to get rid of the low clouds and eventually become partly cloudy. And then we'll do it all over again tonight. More fog, and it'll be dense again as we head toward tomorrow morning. That is for sure. But even the lakes area, you should get in the lower 70s. Maybe not quite as warm as a triangle, but it'll be close. And then some sun going, it'll warm up quickly. There's that shot again down in Port Arthur. Notice the fog there off in the distance. So especially near the water, near waterways, is where we're still having some issues with fog. On a camera down in Port Arthur, Roofing 911 Skycam network, sponsored by Market Basket. So it's going to take a little time, but skies will become partly cloudy, as you saw here in Beaumont. Now let's take a look at some of those current visibilities. Notice how the visibility in Port Arthur is a lot lower than Beaumont. We have 10-mile visibility in Beaumont with no fog. Still some fog in Port Arthur. Visibility better than it was earlier, but still around 3 miles. Not much fog around Lake Charles, but notice up the lakes near the waterways again, the fog still in patches up there. 3-mile visibility there. So, and nothing at all, which you'll see on temperatures in just a few minutes out in the Houston area. Really no fog at all. Visibility's 10 miles or greater. So that will improve this afternoon, but it will be back tonight into Friday morning, as we'll show you coming up in just a moment. But skies should become partly cloudy this afternoon. We should reach the 70s across Southeast Texas and then back to the 50s. Now here's that fog forecast, a futurecast fog visibility for tonight. Notice at 10 o'clock, it's already moving back in. It's developing orange, very little visibility at 10 o'clock tonight. It'll be dropping in Beaumont as well. Look at that. I'm going to spread all the way up into the lakes area by tomorrow morning. Kind of like this morning, I don't see much difference between tomorrow morning compared to this morning. Look almost identical. So heading out to work or school for your Friday, you're going to have to allow some extra time because the fog's going to be pretty dense. And I'm talking Interstate 10 southward, northward into the lakes, even out west toward the Houston area. A lot of fog in the forecast with those light winds forecasted tonight. And then the winds will pick up out of the south off the Gulf tomorrow. That'll all mix the fog out. Will be pretty warm. Then the humidity will continue to increase as well ahead of our storm system, which is still on schedule for a Saturday night. Real late, we'll have a pretty good chance of showers and thunderstorms. Looks like the timing on that after 9 or 10 o'clock, closer to midnight, maybe a half to 1 inch of rain should move on through. Then we'll be in pretty good shape. Hopefully any severe weather will stay to our north. Temperatures right now finally beginning to warm up where there was some fog earlier. 59 in Jasper, 65 Kirbyville, 63 in Silsbee, But notice where there hasn't been much fog this morning in the Houston area, they're much warmer already. Already at 70 degrees there, 69 Conroe, and slowly warming in Port Arthur at 62. Orange the coolest because you're still dealing with a little bit of fog even at the 11:35 hour this morning. And of course, there's those cool spots in the lakes area. We showed you the camera up in Jasper, still lots of fog up there. So it'll be, like I said, we're going to repeat this again tonight. So if you have to head out to work or school tomorrow, just allow some extra time because it will be quite foggy once again. There's the front that came through late yesterday afternoon. It briefly shifted our winds. We had a few showers work through. Our wind shifted to the northeast, and they're still kind of northerly in spots. And our temperatures actually dropped a few degrees for a few hours. Now, they rebounded pretty quickly. The temperatures did warm right back up. Very weak cold front. That's a very weak front. But it's pretty much stationary now from Corpus to right along Interstate 10 or near the coastline down toward Lafayette and Baton Rouge. Now, this front will move back to the north as a warm front overnight tonight and throughout the day. Tomorrow, notice a few showers already developing in West Texas. A little piece of energy there. That's just way ahead of the main upper level low that'll work through here coming up Saturday night, where we'll have a chance of some pretty heavy thunderstorms coming up. Especially, there'll be a line of storms come through that time, especially from the lakes area northward. That'll be your best chance of any severe weather. Will be from the lakes area northward, especially up in northeast Texas and southern Arkansas coming up. And of course, temperatures right now, of course, some areas still kind of stuck in the 50s thanks to the low clouds and fog. We have 58 here in Beaumont. Notice Futurecast warming us up this afternoon, warming into the mid 60s here in the next hour or so, and we should top out in the middle 70s coming up later this afternoon. And by this evening, there'll already be some fog developing to our south along the coast. That'll just build inland overnight. 67 at 7 o'clock tonight, some lower to mid 60s up in the lakes area. We'll run it through this evening. By 10 p.m. tonight, fog already developing down to 60 in Beaumont, pretty much the same in the lakes area. And then once that fog starts to develop, we'll see those temperatures cool to the dew point, and that temperature begins to drop. Well, look at the fog in the morning. That's a lot of fog. We showed you that on the fog Futurecast a few moments ago. So by tomorrow morning, about like this morning, it's kind of cool when that fog develops. We drop into the 50s coming up tomorrow morning. Mid 50s lakes, mid to upper 50s in the triangle, lower 60s out to our west in the Houston area. Of course, it looks like Houston, that area, Houston, Galveston, will finally see fog coming up tomorrow morning. So for that reasoning, we have a weather impact alert in our forecast for tomorrow morning till at least 10 a.m. For dense fog, you'll need to certainly use caution. Use your lights, allow plenty of distance between you and the car in front of you again tonight. All right, this afternoon we get rid of the fog and the low clouds. We'll see some sun. We'll say partly to mostly cloudy this afternoon. Highs will be in the mid to upper 70s. Winds finally becoming back out of the south as that front slowly begins to work back to the north. Tonight, more dense fog. It's going to be pretty widespread, looks like. Mid 50s for lows, 56, 57 along Interstate 10, upper 50s along the coastline, some mid 50s up in the lakes area. Almost a repeat tomorrow morning of what we had this morning. All right.